Al-Bakarah, which is a great surah, and all of it is revealed in Mecca. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified for us three categories of people in this world. The mu'mineen, and they come in the beginning, and then the kafirin, which is a clear cut, and finally the munafiqeen, the hypocrites. But with the kafirin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that no matter what you do and what you say, they will not accept. It is closed. It is like solid, and they seems like to be convinced. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about them more when He said, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ. You know, what kind of brain and what kind of logic that you have. كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا. You were dead. فَأَحْيَاكُمْ. Then He brought you to life. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ. And you will die again. ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. How many death and how many life you will have. Like the other ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, رَبَّنَا أَحْيَيْتَنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ وَأَمَتَّنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ فَاعْتَرَفْنَا بِذُنُوبِنَا فَهَلْ إِلَى خُرُوجٍ مِّن سَبِيلٍ. We have died twice and we have been living, and you brought us back to life twice. There is a way to get out of the hellfire ultimately, especially for those kafirin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it so clear that He is the one who created everything, and including you as part of this great creation. So كيف تكفرون بالله? Where is your thinking and where is your brain? This reminded me of the fact that we started from somewhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be, as He told the angels later on, the ayat that comes after where we stopped. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the angels that I am going to create a khalifa in this earth, that creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a beginning for us, and it's going to be an end. And today, just to make it click hopefully, today is the final for the game, for the soccer game that get billions of people busy. So there is a beginning and there is a final. And the final is really, in this dunya, is not going to put somebody in heaven and somebody in hell. It's just a game and the title and the trophy and so on. But the life of the human, it is very essential. Yet you don't have much about the beginning. You don't have control over the beginning. It is by the will of Allah, and even the end. But in between, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the chance. Gave you that abilities and ask you, كيف? How? How come you have not used your tools? I have dear friends today, this morning, he told me that, you know, instead of studying and reading the books and so forth, there is an AI you can use and maybe summarize your speech or your talk, which is great. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me another tool. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, use it. Even though this is ultimately a tool that my brain as a human, any human, produce what is good to use, but it's in the bigger picture of a human being. You have to come to Iman. And if you don't, with all the evidence and the ayat in this kawn, in this world, which is the open book, you know, the universe, and the written book, which is the Quran and other scholar-like explanation, then there is a problem with this human being. And that problem, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا. You were dead. ثُمَّ أَحْيَاكُمْ. You were nothing, you were dirt, you were something like unknown to anybody. And then Allah brought you to life. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ, in this life. ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ, then He will bring you back to life. ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ, inshallah, into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be returning. As the believers will go back to Jannah, inshallah, where they belong. And if after all this journey of dead, living, enjoying this life and having all the tools of this life, and you don't make use of it, sense of it, iman in it, then it will be in the hellfire. And no regret for the kafirin. And similarly to the hypocrites, and that's another subject. So as today, the final for that game, a day will come to be the final for the human being. Definitely. Is that anybody have a doubt? If you do have a doubt, check with your father if he's still around, or your grandfather, or the many that we hear about every day. And we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in many ayat that هو الذي بدأ الخلق ثم يعيده وهو أهون عليه. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started you, get you here, and Allah will bring you back. And definitely between beginning and the end of this life, and then coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there will be the responsibility and the accountability and the determination whether you are in this category or that category. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to make us of the category of the mu'mineen, the first one, الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الأولين والآخرين وإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.